YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Today, we're looking at playoff scenarios entering Week 18. We actually have one more Week 17 game, Monday Night Football, that'll play a part as well. We're going to take a look at all the scenarios. What if this team wins? What if this team loses? Who's got what seed? Who's in and out? How does this team get in? We're going to take a look at all of them here. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy this week. I can't wait for the playoffs. I think this is about as even of a playing field as it's been. We'll have you covered. Full playoff coverage. Cannot wait to do that content. Join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on, follow our Twitter, link on the screen. Updates on there, polls, keeping you guys involved in videos here coming up. You guys will vote for awards, things like that. So link down below. Check it out. All much appreciated. So for this video, we're using playoffpredictors.com. We did use playoffpredictors.com here. This is a fantastic site. People list out the scenarios. This team gets in if this happens, this happens. It gets confusing. I want to actually see it. See it with the divisions here, the ranking, the placements, the seedings here on who wins what game. So this is very helpful. So you see on the screen right now, these were the Week 17 games. So today's Monday. Monday Night Football hasn't happened yet. So basically what we already know, the Steelers need to – the Browns are out because the Chargers won yesterday. Browns are out. Steelers are still alive if they win this game. So if they lose, they are out. Something we're gonna play around a bunch of scenarios here, but something interesting I noticed, a lot falls on the Colts. We can click on the Colts here. It brings up their schedule. They play the Jaguars next week. Now, you would think the Colts are going to beat the worst team in football, and maybe the Giants might be worse right now. Who knows? That'd be a great battle, Jags versus Giants. But we don't get that next week. We get Colts versus Jags. We think the Colts should be able to handle business here. But I did notice when I was playing around with scenarios, which we'll play around some more here, all of them, and I did notice if the Colts lost this game to the Jags, and don't mind that, it tries to predict who they'll play in 19, which is the playoffs. So ignore that for now. We'll take a look at the playoff field and scenarios. But if the Jags won, the Colts are pretty much out. But I did notice that there's still a way for them to get in, and it starts with the Steelers losing tonight, Monday Night Football, and then the Colts have an opportunity to get in here. So they would have to, between the Raiders and the Chargers, if the Raiders beat the Chargers, the Colts would remain in, if I'm not mistaken. Something with the Patriots, too. What if the Patriots won? They're still in. The Dolphins. All right, so we'll play around with all these scenarios here. So basically, if the Steelers lost tonight, the Colts still have a shot to be in. Even with a loss, they would need help from the Las Vegas Raiders, as you can see here, the Raiders. So, but I don't know if we expect the Colts to lose here. So see at the top, you can current standings, clicking that. Just like looking at how it all looks different here. But I wanted to play around first. Let's say the Steelers win tonight, and they're still alive, obviously. The Browns not playing for anything here. Here's all the Week 18 games. Let's say all the favorites won. All the favorites don't always win. Let's say all the favorites won here. Vegas favorites. Chiefs over the Broncos on Saturday. The Browns beat up the Bengals last time, so could they play... Spoiler, the Bengal in terms of the seed, we'll come back and look at the different seeds teams can get, but the Bengals are in, but the seeds could be messed up or could be different a little bit if they lose, obviously. But the Bengals are favored. The Colts, we expect them to win. Steelers, Ravens. I actually didn't see who's favored in that game. Let's say the Ravens win that one at home. It's got to be around even. Titans over Texans. The Titans, something to know. They're in control of that one seed. If they win, they have the one seed. If they lose, they're going to lose that one seed probably. Bills beat the Jets. And we'll see what seeds the Titans can get. The Chiefs can get all these teams. Patriots got to be favored over the Dolphins. The Chargers are favored by 3, I believe, over the Raiders. That's going to be a hell of a game on Sunday Night Football. It's winning in, losing out. There is a scenario where they both can get in, actually. We'll take a look. Cowboys, Washington Football Team. Packers probably going to sit some starters, so maybe the Lions end up favored. I doubt it. Vikings are probably favored. Maybe the Bears should be or could be. That doesn't matter anyways, that game. Bucks, Cardinals. I believe the Saints will be favored even though they lost to the Falcons last time. And the Rams are favored even though they struggle with the 49ers. So let's see what happens if all the favorites win, or what what most people expect to happen maybe here. Not saying I do. So you see the Titans win. They're still in that 1 seed. Just take a look at we'll run through. Titans are at the 1 seed. We got the Chiefs at the 2, the Bengals at the 3, the Bills, even though it's a tie with the Patriots, they get the division win. They get the 4 seed. The Patriots get 5, the Colts get 6, and the Chargers won that game against the Raiders, got 7. We're going to circle back, see what happens if anything's different. We'll take a look at the NFC on the right side of the screen. We have the Packers. The Packers are locked into the 1, so make sure you understand that now. Packers are 1, which there's no playing around with 1 on the NFC. The AFC, there is some random, like the Patriots can get the 1 seed. We'll take a look. But Packers 1 in this scenario. The Rams actually get 2, 13-4. The Buccaneers 3 seed, 13-4. Remember, the Rams beat the Buccaneers earlier in the year, so that is interesting. The NFC is it's pretty straightforward. The NFC, because the Cowboys lost to the Bucks lost to the Rams, the Cowboys just lost to the Cardinals. So let's say the Cardinals win, the Rams lose, the Cardinals win the division. They are going to be ahead of the Cowboys because they just beat the Cowboys. That was actually a bigger game than you might realize, more than just a statement win and momentum win. They have the tiebreaker over the Cowboys now, the Cardinals that is. So it's pretty straightforward. The Cowboys could get the 3 seed. We'll talk about that. But some things will need to happen. Then the Cardinals are the 5. The Eagles at the 6. We know the Eagles have clinched. And the Saints at the 7. The 49ers are out. They are at the 8 seed with, if the favorites win, which they don't always win. The 49ers actually seem to always beat the Rams. Doesn't mean they're going to win again, but also doesn't mean the favorites just going to win. To see what happens here. But so if this happens, pretty crazy. The Saints are in. The Eagles are the 6th seed, and the 49ers are out. Let's go back to the AFC. We'll circle back to different scenarios in the NFC. But the AFC, the big one is the Chargers and the Raiders. That's the big one. They moved to the Sunday Night Football because it's a rival game, and it's pretty much winning in, losing out. But what happens if the Colts lose to the Jags is the big one. Yeah, so you see if the Colts lose to the Jags, you see on your screen down here that the Chargers beat the Raiders in this scenario. That's they're both in. The Chargers and the Raiders are in. The Colts are out because the Steelers won on Monday night. So it all kind of comes back to that Monday night. That's tonight, if that's the case. Here, well, if the Browns win, it looks like the Colts are still out. So yeah, the Colts would need the Raiders to win. We already went over that. So this scenario, we have the Steelers beating the Browns. But back to the week 18 games, and there they are. And so we have that's the scenario where the Chargers and the Raiders would both get in. The Chargers win and the Colts lose to the Jags. Really don't think the Colts are going to lose to the Jags. So back to the Colts win. And of course, if you see the Raiders beat the Chargers at home, maybe they got some momentum. They just beat the Colts in a big game there. They're going to get Darren Waller back most likely. They're expecting it. So Raiders could definitely win that game at home here, second time around against the Chargers. Crowd's going to be nuts on Sunday Night Football. So then you see the Raiders are in. And remember when the Chargers were in this scenario, they're the 7th seed. Colts are the 6th seed. Raiders win. They are the 6th seed. The Colts are the 7th seed. So that win for the Raiders against the Colts last week was absolutely massive here. So the Raiders would be in that scenario as the 6th seed. So you see it there. They would play the 3 seed, which is the Bengals in the first round. They played them not too long ago here. So you see how it matches up differently. But so it's a big game between the Raiders and the Chargers there. Playing around with first let's talk about, the Titans. Again, they control their destiny here. They beat the Texans. They are the 1 seed. That's it. Doesn't matter what anybody else does. They lost to the Texans already. Sloppy game there for them. 5 turnovers in the rain at home. So they lose to the Texans again. Texans actually might be playing better ball now. They lose to the Texans. They drop from 1 to 3 because the Bengals and the Chiefs won and hopped them. So the Chiefs are back in that 1 seed there with the win on Saturday against the Broncos. Let's say the Broncos beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs actually, instead of 1 or 2, which they're sitting at now, they're actually going to drop down to 4, all the way to 4. Chiefs won a division, though. So you can see they're in that 1-4 range. They can get any of those seeds in the 1-4. So I guess plays by matchup. Who would you want to play? But obviously you want the better seed here. So they lose to the Broncos. So that would, instead of the Titans, if they lost and the Chiefs lost, that would go down to 3. They would go down to 2. Let's say the Titans are the favorites. Let's say they win, but the Chiefs lost. I mean, you're looking at the Bengals. Well, that actually would mean this other way meaning the Bengals actually have a shot to get the 1 seed, but both the Titans and the Chiefs have to lose. I don't think it happens, but the Titans win. They're the 1 seed, obviously, and the Bengals could obviously get the 2. We'll see how far the Bengals could drop. They can actually drop down to 4. So the Bengals could possibly get 1, possibly could drop down to 4. I do think this is pretty realistic, actually. I really don't think the Chiefs lose to the Broncos. I really don't, even though they lost to them already. I don't think the Titans lose to the Texans. So we'll count those downs as wins. I think the Bengals losing to the Browns is a possibility. I don't expect it. I think it's a possibility. They struggled with them last time. Maybe it's a bad matchup. Browns kind of just playing spoiler. Bengals feel a lot better, though. But they dropped down to 4. But, of course, if the Bills lost to the Jets, who are playing better ball, they would actually lose the division if the Patriots won, as you can see. And then the Patriots would get the 3 seed. So the Bengals leave with the loss and the Bills loss. That doesn't really help them. You see that they can pass the Titans or the Chiefs. They can stay behind them. But if they lose, if the Bengals lose, they are in the 4 seed. Is that correct? If the Bengals lose, they are the 4 seed no matter what. Because the Titans can't drop below the Bengals. The Chiefs can't drop below the Chiefs can drop, only if the Bengals win. So the Bengals lose, they are in the 4 seed. Because no matter what the Bills, I could be mistaken actually. What if the? Okay, I was mistaken. So if the Bengals lose, they're likely locked in the 4 seed. But the Bills and the Patriots would both would have to lose there. So you see what happens in that scenario. The Bills lose to the Jets, who are playing better ball, and the Patriots win. We saw that. They win the division. The Patriots could actually get the 1 seed. I don't expect it to happen, but it's pretty wild. They have a tiebreaker over the Titans, obviously, so that would be why the tied record there. And what's said say the Chiefs lost. The Patriots, see that 1 right next to them, they actually can get the 1 seed. That's pretty wild. I don't think any of us is expecting that to happen, but it's possible. But again, back with the Chiefs over the Broncos, the Bengals, that could go either way. I'm just looking at ones that I really think could happen there. So the Patriots could possibly get the 1 seed. We see them in the 3 seed. Let's see. I mean, even if they win and the Bills win, we could see them down at the 5 seed. If the Patriots lose to the Dolphins, we see them even drop down to the 7 seed. Let's go back to the favorites. That doesn't change much. So they're at the 3 seed there. With the Patriots with a loss, they drop down to the 7 seed. How did they get there? The Colts win, which we expect. We have the Raiders over the Chargers in this scenario. So let's flip it. Let's go Chargers beat the Raiders. Patriots bump up to the 6 seed. So maybe don't drop down that far with a loss, but a pretty far drop, so that with the Raiders, okay, yeah. So that would just flip the teams. Chargers in, but they get the 7 seed. The Raiders would have the 6 seed with a win, I believe. They're at the 5, actually. So the Raiders could actually get the 5 seed, as you can see there. So Patriots loss, other favorites win. The Patriots get the 6 seed. Patriots loss plus other favorites win besides the Raiders beat the Chargers. The Patriots get the 7 seed, and you see instead of the Chargers getting the 7 seed, the Raiders bump up to 5, and that is because they have that tiebreaker on the Colts again. So the Raiders are kind of linked to the Colts here. Same record, both win here. The Raiders got to be the 5 seed. They're ahead of the Colts and the Patriots. So that's pretty wild to think about. In this scenario, the Patriots be playing the Chiefs in the first round. That's not really what you want. The Raiders up at the 5 seed. They'd be playing the Bills. They'd be playing the Bills 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. Yes, Bills, Raiders in the first round. That would be pretty wild. I think that's pretty realistic. A lot of you probably not predicting that. I think that is pretty realistic. Bengals lost, they'd be bumped down to 4. Yeah, so it could be a lot of scenarios where the Bengals end up actually playing the Raiders again, which they played not too long ago. The Bengals controlled that game just on the ground. But I think this is pretty realistic. Is there a way the Patriots? No, the Patriots have clinched. So that's pretty much all the main scenarios here for the AFC. But the Ravens, actually, the Ravens, we had them winning, and we got to take a look at the Steelers as well. The Ravens need the Colts to lose, and they're still not in. They need the Patriots to win. Yes, they need the Patriots to win. That's pretty wild. So if the Ravens got to beat the Steelers, they need the Colts is kind of the magic team. The Jags, I should say, are the magic team. They need a lot of teams. Some teams need the Jags to beat the Colts. Tough ask if you ask me. But the Ravens win. The Colts loss, and you see if the Dolphins beat the Patriots, they are not in. Is that something to do with the Raiders? I believe. Chargers, no. Back to the Patriots. That's wild. So the Ravens need to win. They need the Colts to lose, and they need the Raiders to win. They need the Raiders to win. But if the Dolphins win, and they need the Patriots to win. That's pretty interesting. I didn't realize it went that deep there. So the Ravens, as you could tell, not just the Patriots win, see they're in there, but if the Chargers win, they are out. They want to be tied with the Chargers because they have the tiebreaker in the Chargers. Basically, a good way to look at it. So the Ravens need to win. They need the Colts to lose to the Jags. A lot needs to happen here. Patriots should be the Dolphins, but it's not a free one. It's up in the air. The Dolphins beat them last time. And they need the Raiders to win as well. And the Ravens are in the 7th seed at 9-8. They'll be looking at playing the Titans, maybe the Chiefs. We talked about the Bengals, a possibility. They do not want to see the Bengals. The Ravens do not want to see the Bengals. We know that. Or depending on who gets the 2 seed, I should say. So it'd probably be the Chiefs if the Ravens got in. That's pretty crazy, though. Let's say the Steelers won. They have to win on Monday night. Can't forget that. That's tonight. Recording that before it. Everyone's looking for these scenarios, so I decided to jump on it. So right away, I have the Steelers beating the Ravens, and of course, I have them winning the Monday night game. And they're into the 7th seed. And why is that? That is they need the Colts to lose to the Jags. We know that. That's kind of the trigger. They need to win, and they need the Colts to lose. What happens if the Chargers win? They're still in here. So the loser of the big game, Chargers Raiders, is out. The winner is in. So the Steelers don't need as much as the Ravens. They got to win on Monday night, and they got to beat the Ravens, and then they need the Colts. They need the Colts to lose to the Jags. So again, asking a lot, but they don't need as much as the Ravens. We saw the Ravens needed quite a bit there. So things I learned is what the Ravens need. I knew they needed that Jags win, but they need some interesting things in there. The Raiders-Chargers game plays a part. The Patriots-Dolphins game actually plays a part of a lot of seedings and a team like the Ravens getting in maybe. And the Patriots could be the one. It's weird. They can be the 1 seed we saw just a little bit ago, or they could be the 7th seed. They can be anywhere in between there for the most part. So that is pretty interesting. Yeah, we talked about how these teams I would like to see who's favored in the Steelers-Ravens game, but we expect to see a lot of the change comes from the Colts losing to the Jags. I really, really, really don't think the Colts lose to the Jags. So it's just a huge game of the Chargers and the Raiders there. So hopefully I'm not forgetting anything there. All these other teams have been eliminated to the NFC side. So you see the right side of your screen. So with all here on your screen right now in the middle is all the Week 18 games with who wins. I went with the favorites here originally. I mean, it's just really for who's in, who's out. Before we talk about the seeding, it's really Niners versus Saints, and they don't play each other. But the Niners win, they're in. That's done deal. They're familiar with beating the Rams. If they win, they're in. They get the 6th seed. They're locked in the 6th seed with a win, because the Eagles they're right there with them. None of these teams fighting to get in, or the Eagles they're already in could get the 5 seed. Cardinals, Rams, 2nd place in the West will get the 5 seed because of their record, obviously. But 49ers are fighting with the Saints. Are they fighting with the Eagles? Well, if the Niners win, it doesn't matter if the Eagles beat the Cowboys. As you can see, Eagles are still at the 7th seed. The Niners are at the 6th seed. So, but back to, if the favorites won, The Niners would actually be out. They would be out. Saints would be in with all the mess that went on with them this year. That's pretty wild. Let's say they both lost, and then it just kind of just stays where we're at right here. The 49ers 6 seed, Eagles 7 seed. Let's say if they both lost but the Eagles won, you see the Eagles jump up to the 6 seed, a 49ers 7 seed. So it looks a little different than what it is now. The Eagles would play the Buccaneers. Yeah, the Niners would play the winner of the NFC West, likely. So that's definitely interesting. Expect the Cowboys to win. Saints are favorites. The 49ers-Rams game is pretty damn big here. But taking a look at, so it's really just two teams fighting there. But taking a look at the different seedings, again, the Packers are locked into one. Done deal. It's not like the AFC Packers are locked into one. They're going to get a bye week again, just like last year. Home field advantage in the frozen tundra. So that's big for them. So right now, the Rams are sitting at the 2 seed. And then, again, it's because of that tiebreaker over the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers also have a tiebreaker over the Cowboys. Remember, the Cardinals have one over the Cowboys. So that was a tough game line. That was big for the Cardinals. But if we want to change around the seeding, so let's say favorites won, but the Rams lost. So the Cardinals beat the Seahawks. Rams lost the 49ers. I think that's very, very realistic. We see the 49ers back in. We already talked about that, even though the Saints won. But the main thing is the NFC West here at the top. Cardinals win and the Rams lose. The Cardinals get the victory of the NFC West. The Rams bump down to the 5 seed. So whoever doesn't win that division is getting the 5 seed. So the Rams just went from 2 to 5 with a loss and the Cardinals win. The Cardinals went up to 3. Remember, they have the tiebreaker of the Cowboys. They don't have it with the Buccaneers. Well, the Buccaneers, let's see if they lost. Buccaneers lost. They actually do have the tiebreaker, the Cardinals. So if they had the same record, Buccaneers and Cardinals, the Cardinals would get it. So the Cardinals would bump all the way up to the 2 seed. We are asking a lot here. They need the Rams to lose, which isn't asking a ton. But then the Buccaneers lose to the Panthers. I don't think so. And remember, the Packers are locked in. So if the Cardinals do win the division, it's looking like that 3 seed. And the Rams would be, well, let's go back here. We had the Rams losing. We had the Cardinals winning. What happened? I think it's possible. Cardinals lose to the Seahawks. They're home. They slip up at home. Seahawks maybe figured something out offensively last week. Scored 50. I know they played the Lions this year. The Cardinals lost to the Lions, but not really the point. But my point is Seahawks figured out something offensively, 51 points. They could be a little sneaky here maybe. So Seahawks beat the Cardinals and the Rams lose. The Cardinals will stay at 5. So with the Cardinals loss, they are staying at 5. They lose, they're 5. Locked in. That's it. The Rams lose. They just went from 2 to 4. The Cowboys actually have a tiebreaker over somebody. They don't have it over the Cardinals, the Bucks. It looks like they have it over the Rams here. But if the Cowboys lost, of course, they would go back down to 4. So a lot of scenarios with the Cowboys at 4. Can the Cowboys get to 2? No, they can't. It's either this would be this only scenario where because they can't get to 2. So this is the only scenario where the Cowboys wouldn't be 4. They're likely 4. If they're not, they are 3, and it's with a win over the Eagles and a Cardinals and Rams loss. So Cowboys are likely 4. They need a bit to happen there. So the Rams went down to 4. Actually, let's see something. Cowboys can get to 2. I misspoke again here. Cowboys can get to 2. Because it's a 3-way tie. Because, again, I thought the Buccaneers had the tiebreaker on the Cowboys. They do, but the Rams have the tiebreaker over the Buccaneers. So the Cowboys actually can – that's how the Cowboys can get the 2 seed, which would be – I just really don't think it's happening. All those other things need to happen, plus the Buccaneers lose to the Panthers. Don't think so. So I really – so it is possible. I was wrong. It is possible for the Cowboys to get the 2 seed. But it's really looking like 4. If it's not 4, it's going to be 3. But it's likely 4. But we did see the Rams. Did the Rams, with this scenario where they lost, they can get to 3. So the Rams can get 2, 3, or 4, or 5. 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Rams. That's definitely possible there. I think the scenarios with the Rams, I think are real again because it drops back to their struggles against the 49ers. But again, they win. It looks like the Rams win. They get the 2 seed. So that's that. The Buccaneers, back to them. We expect them to win. They can get the 2 seed. With the Rams loss. Yeah. It looks like they're 3, but they can get the 2 seed with a Rams loss. There was a scenario with them at the 4 seed with the Cowboys as well. A whole lot needs to happen there, though. So it looks like the Bucs are 3, maybe 2 if the 49ers help them out, which, again, is pretty damn realistic. So I think it's, for the most part, it's straightforward in the NFC for the most part, mainly because the Packers are locked in at 1. We know who will be the 5 seed. It's going to be one of 2 teams. It's going to be the second-place team in the NFC West. So big game for the Saints. They need help from the Rams. So 49ers just got to win. They can't worry about anybody else. They just got to win. So if you're going by favorites, 49ers actually are out, but they do always beat the Rams. So if that's the case there, 6-7. Cowboys, did they lose that? The Eagles maybe help themselves only if the 49ers lose, though, do they bump up. But the Saints could get in. We see that. It's pretty crazy. So back to all the favorites here. That's what I think, just looking at the games. Back to the Cardinals as well. Man, the NFC West, though, I think both teams can get upset. I don't think they will. I think it's possible. Seahawks, 49ers, those are 2 big games. So just looking at the biggest games here, I mean, technically the Colts and the Jags, huge game because teams need the Colts to lose. The Colts, there's actually scenarios where they are out of the playoffs. Actually, very many scenarios. If they lose, they're just out of the playoffs. So they cannot choke to the Jabby, a major choke. I just don't think it happens. Ravens, Steelers need some help. It is most likely these 2 teams are out. It's very likely that those 2 teams are out. Steelers also need to win tonight, Monday night. That didn't happen yet. Titans, it's actually a pretty big game. They win to the 1 seed, and they choked against Texans earlier in the year. They almost did at the end of last year, a different team, but they got to win. Bills, Jets, the Bills win. They win their division. And, the Patriots, again, remember, if you go back to earlier in this video, different scenarios with the Patriots, pretty wild. They can get the 1 seed. Not likely they can get the 1 seed, though, but they can get all the way down to the 7 seed. They're in the playoffs, but they can actually drop down. It's a weird game for seeding. It's a very strange game for seeding. The Patriots-Dolphins, it really affects everything. Raiders-Chargers is the biggest game. That's why it's Sunday Night Football. You win, you're in. You lose, you're probably out. But if the they both could actually get in. We talked about in the very beginning of this, very close to the very beginning of this video, they both could actually get in, even if, and I'm not talking about a tie either. They both actually could get in there, but so that'd be a pretty big game. The Raiders are likely better seeded if they win. The Raiders than the Chargers. Chargers win, they're in. Raiders probably out, but 7 seed for the Chargers. That's something we didn't look at. Can the Chargers get better than the 7 seed? I don't think we looked at it. The Patriots have a tiebreaker over them. The Colts lost to the Jags. Yeah, Chargers get the 6 seed with the Jags help. I just don't think. Again, I don't think it happens. It's just a big game on Sunday night. Cowboys Eagles. Cowboys are very likely 4. They can get 3. They're probably gonna try to play in this game. That's what I've seen other people asking that, like, who's not gonna try. The Packers are the only one locked in to 1. I had somebody ask me on Twitter if the Chiefs will try. I would expect them to, because in the beginning of this video we saw that they can get the 1 seed with the win. They can stay at the 2 seed with the win. If they play their backups and lose, they can drop to 3. They can even drop to 4. I think they would rather play for 2 and a maybe 1 by trying. So I really think the Chiefs will try. The Bengals, they're in the same situation as the Chiefs. Colts will definitely try, obviously, because they actually haven't clinched a playoff spot, believe it or not. Steelers and Ravens will both try, unless Steelers lose. I think Big Ben will play his last game for Steelers next week, even if they're out. The Titans will try. They're going for the 1 seed, which is massive in today's NFL. And then we got the Bills. They want to lock up their division. The Patriots could actually pass them. Patriots could pass them. They can get as low as a 7, as high as a 1, so they will try. Chargers and Raiders is Sunday Night Football. That's the big game. They're going to try. Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys is the interesting one. I think they would. Cowboys have had a problem with injuries at this time of the year in the past. Do they say, hey, we're going to try, we win, we still very likely could have the 4 seed, So, we could have 3. We could even have 2 if some wild things happen, but we could have 3. I want to go back and look at that. I'm already forgetting. So if they won the... Is that how they would get 3? Yeah, they need the Rams, and it's very possible. They might try because it's the Cardinals and the Rams game. If the Cowboys win, they try, they win. They play their starters is what I mean by try. If they play their starters, try to win, they win. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. I think it's possible. I'm not counting on it. 49ers beat the Rams. I think it's very possible. So the Cowboys might need to give it a go. I mean, they might. They may say we got screwed by injuries in the past this time of the year, or sometimes earlier, sometimes later. Let's sit our guys because we might. What if we play our starters, try to win, and then get hurt and still end up with the 4 seed after all that? So I could see it. I'd say they give it a go. Washington Giants don't matter. Packers, again, they're locked into 1 seed, and they're going to have a bye anyways. Do they want 2 weeks of rust? Maybe they try to, getting rusty there, not playing because they have the bye as well. Some people may look at it, hey, they got a bye next week anyway, so I'm not really worried about getting rusty because we're not playing next week anyway. So I can see it argued either way by the Packers. I think they would rest their guys. So if you're picking games, maybe you lean towards Lions if Jared Goff plays. Bears Vikings doesn't matter. Vikings got a bunch of guys in the COVID list. So if you're picking games, keep that in mind. Buccaneers, Panthers, Bucks can get. I don't see them not. I don't see them going out there and just not trying in this game. But it's because they can get to 2. They could drop down to 4. If they lost in this scenario, they would still have 3. Maybe the Buccaneers don't go full go here. We know the Cardinals are going full go. Saints, Falcons. Yeah, I think the Falcons would try to play spoiler here. Could this be some talk about Matt Ryan's last game? He's still under contract, though. Rams, 49ers. The Rams are trying to win their division. Keep that 2 seed. Looks pretty. 49ers need to win to get in. So, I'd say the biggest game's Chargers, Raiders. I'd say the second biggest game is 49ers, Rams. Then after that, Saints, Falcons pretty big. Cardinals, Seahawks pretty big. And then some of those AFC games probably. The Patriots, Dolphins messes with a lot of things, like oddly. That's kind of the weird game. But yes, so you kind of get an idea on how this all shifts around. I kind of want to do this way. I learned some things while doing this. It gets a little confusing, but when I see somebody list out Chiefs scenarios, and there's a bunch of different options, Ravens, and it just gets confusing to me a little bit. If I said I can understand it, but if I just can't remember if I got to look at each team. So I kind of want to see it in action almost here. So if all the favorites won, again, that's what it would look like in the next round. The Bills versus Patriots, Bengals versus Colts, Chiefs, Chargers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Eagles, Rams, Saints. We'll pick games. Don't worry. We'll have enough picks in the games, so I won't pick now. But I look at the interesting matchups in this scenario. Bills, Patriots, third time around. Patriots got them first time. Bills scored a lot of points second time. What will Patriots change? The Bengals and the Colts would be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Chiefs, Chargers, we just saw a wild game that AFC wild card round would be nuts. We just saw that Chiefs Chargers wild game on Thursday Night Football go to overtime. Chargers never got the shot. I think the Chargers want that game. I think they want that game. Cowboys, Cardinals, we just saw them play. Rematch again here. Pretty wild. Eagles, Bucks, Rams, Saints. Yeah, and the AFC ones are definitely better. Maybe, again, we'll have the Niners win this one. We kind of can look at it again. We would see Rams, Cowboys, and then we would see Niners, Cardinals. So it's definitely, the Bucks still play the Eagles there, but see the different matchups back there. What happens if what if the Rams and the Cardinals lost? We would see Rams, Cardinals. They'd both blow it, lose, and have to play each other. We see Cowboys, 49ers. Again, the Bucks and the Eagles. So you see the different scenarios here. Pretty sure, yeah, it's similar to the first one. It's the same as the first one. Take a look at the AFC scenarios. Raiders, and then it would be, the Raiders hop the Colts. So it'd be Raiders, Bengals, Colts Chiefs would be a hell of a game. I think that'd be a hell of a game. Pretty much anything with the Colts. I don't know why. It just seems like it's the AFC so even. It's so even here that I think a lot of these would be great games. Does this shake anything up here? Colts, Bengals, Raiders, Bills. That's a little different. Patriots, Chiefs. So that's actually a lot different. If the Raiders win, and what did I do? The Dolphins beat the Patriots. What if the Dolphins beat the Patriots? Chargers win. Colts, Bills. Bills don't want to see the Colts again, I don't think. Maybe. So you see it's Patriots, Bengals. See the different scenarios here. And there's even more scenarios. They kind of look at the more likely ones that can change things up. So hopefully this helped you guys a bit. Here I learned some things. This one is just interesting to see the different matchups. Once the playoffs start, we're going to rank the playoff teams, not based off what they did in the regular season, just have playoffs and going forward here. We're going to pick playoff games. I give you my full bracket predictions right away. All kinds of playoff videos. That starts next week. Obviously, cannot wait. We'll have some different videos this week. Who's going to get fired? We'll talk about all those things. So a lot coming up. And we're almost in off-season mode for some teams at the same time. So all that stuff will be coming out. So join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on, follow our Twitter. Link down there. Recent videos, you always can find links to those pinned in the comments. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.